What is it that makes an archaeological find shocking? That's a question with no real answer because it depends entirely on what's been uncovered. It might be something incredibly small, something minuscule, maybe only a few hundred years old, or it could trace all the way back to the origins of humanity. We only realize an archaeological find is shocking when we see it, and in this video you're about to witness some that will absolutely blow your mind. Let's start off with number 15, Roman crucifixion victim. Well, let's start off with something brain-blowing. When we picture Roman crucifixions, the image usually centers on the Mediterranean, not England. But what most people don't know is that it changed in 2021 when archaeologists found the skeleton of a poor crucified man in Fenstanton, Cambridgeshire. This groundbreaking find came from a dig ahead of a planned housing development, where a previously unknown Roman-era settlement was being excavated. Among the remains was an adult male with a single unmistakable sign of crucifixion, a nail driven through his heel. Experts date the burial to the late 3rd or early 4th century CE, toward the end of Roman rule in Britain. By then, crucifixion was falling out of favor, but this discovery proves the method was still used in even the outermost regions of the empire. It's a sobering reminder that the brutal machinery of Rome's justice system reached deep into its provinces, and that its victims could be buried quietly beneath what's now just another English field. Number 14. Anakelang megalithic site. Indonesia's islands haven't been fully combed through by archaeologists the way they should have been, and because of that, a lot of their ancient past is still a mystery. One solid example is the megalithic site of Anakelang on the island of Sumba. The island itself is scattered with stone tombs, but Anakelang stands out for its sheer visual presence. It's filled with stone monuments marked by intricate carvings, but what they mean, no one knows. We haven't been able to crack their meaning, and even dating the site has proven impossible. The complexity and styling of the tombs suggest a post-Neolithic age, but that's as close as we've gotten. Radiocarbon tests on the remains would help clear things up, but so far none have been done. Strangely enough, the Anakelang people still live on the island today. Their king gladly shares a spoken version of their history with visitors, but for now the stone's message remains unsolved. Number 13. Grotte de Rufinyak. Grotte de Rufinyak in Dordogne is a layered archive of human expression that stretches across tens of thousands of years. Also known as the Cave of 100 Mammoths, this vast underground system runs for over 5 miles and holds art from multiple prehistoric periods. The oldest markings date back to the Paleolithic, joined later by Neanderthal works and followed by Mesolithic, Neolithic, and Bronze Age additions. As the name implies, mammoths dominate the artwork. Nearly 100 mammoth depictions appear in carvings, engravings, and line drawings across the cavern walls. Incredibly, this ancient gallery remained hidden in plain sight until 1956, when it was rediscovered by Professor Louis René Nougier. During World War II, the cave even served as a hideout for French resistance fighters, unaware of the prehistoric masterpieces around them. Radiocarbon tests have dated the oldest paintings to roughly 15,000 years ago, making this one of the most historically rich cave systems ever documented in Europe. Number 2. Los Millares Fortress. The fortified prehistoric settlement of Los Millares, located just outside Almeria, Spain, stands as Europe's largest known Neolithic fortress. Dating from around 3,200 to 2,300 BCE, this ancient community was surrounded by multiple defensive walls, outposts, and a necropolis of more than 80 megalithic tombs. The fortifications were built in 3 phases, gradually increasing in complexity. Inside the main compound, copper smelting sites have been found, along with a citadel protected by walls nearly 20 feet thick. Discovered in 1891, the site has since revealed that its residents were part of a sophisticated society during the Copper Age. The local use of arsenic and copper tools, acting as a strengthening agent, likely contributed to the site's strategic importance. Entryways crafted from massive stone slabs and tombs painted red held burial goods such as ivory, ostrich eggshells, flint blades, and pottery. These details give us a rare and vivid window into early urban planning, metallurgy, and mortuary culture in prehistoric Iberia. Number 11. Stolen Bonbonniere. Nearly 2 decades after it vanished, a stolen 19th century French bonbonnière was finally recovered in April 2022. The ornate, gilded candy box had been taken from Waddesdon Manor, Buckinghamshire, a former estate of the Rothschild family, in a 2003 break-in that saw nearly 100 valuable objects stolen. The piece resurfaced when it was flagged by the Art Loss Register after someone attempted to auction it. Though the bonbonnière alone isn't worth millions, the theft was part of a larger heist valued at roughly $5 million. Its recovery is significant not just for its craftsmanship, but because so few of the stolen items have ever been found. Waddesdon Manor, once owned by one of Europe's most powerful banking dynasties, still houses a renowned collection of rare decorative art. The return of the bonbonnière marks its first public appearance in almost 20 years. It's now back where it belongs, no longer hidden in a private stash, but once again part of a collection shaped by wealth, taste, and legacy. Number 10. The White Monument of Syria. For centuries, Syria's White Monument near Tel Banat was assumed to be just another burial mound. That changed in 2021 when archaeologists re-examined the human remains inside and came to a new conclusion. This wasn't just a tomb, it was likely the oldest known war memorial on Earth. The bones weren't enemies tossed into a pit. They were local warriors, laid to rest with honor in their chariots, surrounded by grave goods. This kind of respect doesn't align with burying foreign invaders. References to war memorials exist in ancient Mesopotamian texts, but none had ever been conclusively identified until now. The mound is roughly 4,300 years old, and its design suggests it was once a step pyramid, much like Egypt's Saqqara. Sadly, erosion and time have stripped away its grandeur. Still, the find shifts how we view early Mesopotamian societies, not just as builders and rulers, but as communities who commemorated their dead with care. Number 9. Etruscan Sarcophagus of the Spouses. The sarcophagus of the spouses is one of the finest surviving examples of Etruscan funerary art. Crafted 2,500 years ago, this terracotta masterpiece features 2 life-sized human figures reclining together on a ceremonial bed. When it was first made, it would have been vividly painted. Some of the original pigment still clings faintly to the surface today. The sculpture wasn't fired as a single unit, but in 4 separate parts, then assembled afterward. It's believed the sarcophagus was created to house cremated remains, though there's no physical evidence it was ever used that way. The couple depicted may have been real individuals intended for burial within the tomb, or perhaps idealized representations. Much of Etruscan culture remains elusive due to the partial decipherment of their written language. Even so, this piece speaks volumes about their views on life, death, and companionship. Displayed with serene expressions and intimate gestures, the figures still offer a silent but powerful portrait of shared legacy in a world long gone. Number 8. Dolmens of La Lentejuela Teba. Archaeologists from the University of Cádiz have uncovered new treasures at the La Lentejuela Teba necropolis near Malaga, Spain. Since 2005, this ancient burial ground has revealed 13 funerary structures. Now 2 more megalithic dolmens have been added to the list. One, known as Funeral Structure 1, features a curved entry corridor leading into a chamber supported by vertical stone slabs. Initial dating places the construction of this dolmen near the end of the 4th millennium BCE. Interestingly, it was reused 1,000 years later during the Bronze Age. At that point, smaller burial chambers were added inside the original space to accommodate single or paired burials. To properly document the site, researchers used drone-based aerial photography, high-resolution 3D scanning, photogrammetry, and precise topographic mapping. Samples were also collected for carbon dating and building a solid historical timeline. These finds offer more than just bones and stone. They reveal how long this site served the local people. Number 7. Pachacamac. For over 1,000 years, Pachacamac was one of South America's most sacred religious centers. It's hard to tell that now, looking at what remains. The site, named after the god Pachacamac, creator of earth, fire, and earthquakes, was established near the end of the 2nd century. It originally served as a temple and housed a massive oracle said to reveal the future. Until the 7th century, it remained purely spiritual, but that changed when the Wari culture arrived and transformed it into a full-fledged city. The Ishma culture built onto it even more in the 12th century, expanding its temples and pyramids. By 1470, Pachacamac's fame was so strong that even the conquering Inca chose to leave its religious practices alone, a rare exception for them. That truce ended in 1533 when the Spanish rolled in and wrecked the entire site. Today, Pachacamac is a ruined shell of what it once was, but its memory still holds power in Peru's long spiritual history. Number 6. Bandhavgarh Discoveries. Inside Bandhavgarh National Park in Madhya Pradesh, archaeologists with the ASI uncovered a trove of evidence revealing a 2000-year-old settlement. Among the discoveries were rock-cut caves and a man-made reservoir showcasing the sophistication of the ancient society that once thrived here. The location lies along what used to be a vital trade route, indicating that this now quiet forest reserve was once bustling with commerce. The scale and planning visible in the construction suggest a community that understood both engineering and sustainability. This isn't the first significant find in the area either. Back in 2022, more than 24 ancient temples and caves were discovered, believed to have been built and later modified by early Buddhists. Some of the structures appear to have been reworked nearly 1,000 years ago, suggesting continued habitation over centuries. While the region is now a wildlife sanctuary, these relics reveal a long-forgotten chapter of civilization. Their presence raises a simple yet powerful question: how does an entire thriving society vanish into silence? Number 5. Prehistoric stilt houses. Let's move to a sprawling feat of prehistoric engineering, the stilt houses of the Alps. These pile dwellings were first built around 7,000 years ago and remained in use for over 4 millennia. Though they appear scattered today, most were originally built along lakes, rivers, and wetlands. 111 of these settlements are now recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including 56 in Switzerland, 19 in Italy, 18 in Germany, 11 in France, 5 in Austria, and 2 in Slovenia. For a long time, it was assumed these homes were built directly over water. Now experts believe they were simply constructed near it, with stilts used to prevent flood damage. As water levels rose through the centuries, the remains of these homes ended up submerged, causing earlier confusion. These builders belonged to some of Europe's earliest farming societies. That their wooden homes have lasted this long is a quiet testament to their practical design and proof that good construction can survive time far better than empires. What do you think about them? Number 4. Jacob Sip's Pillow. One of the Bible's strangest relics is Jacob's pillow, referenced in Genesis 28:18. It says Jacob used a stone as a pillow, woke up, set it upright, and poured oil over it. But that translation is shaky. The original Hebrew uses marisha, which can also mean hill or sacred high place, not pillow. The word matzpah, translated as pillar, could also mean altar or even pyramid. That means the passage might not describe a pillow at all, but a sacred stone set on a hill, turned into a holy altar. That would make it a lot like the Hindu practice of anointing lingams with oils every morning during Usha Kala Puja, especially ones like the Hampi Shiva lingam. As much as Christian and Jewish scholars might resist the comparison, the overlap with ancient Hindu rituals is hard to ignore. Whatever Jacob was doing, it probably wasn't sleeping comfortably on a rock. The act seems far more spiritual than practical and still sparks debates to this day. Number 3. Charlotte Brontë Sipp's Lost Manuscript. In April 2022, literary historians celebrated the return of a long-lost handwritten manuscript by Charlotte Brontë, titled A Book of Rhymes. It dates back to 1829 when she was just 13. Measuring no larger than a playing card and bound by hand, the book had remained hidden in private ownership for nearly 2 centuries. Written at the Brontë family home in Haworth, West Yorkshire, it's one of several miniature books Charlotte made with her brother Branwell, inspired by periodicals like Blackwood's magazine. The collection of poems is set in Glass Town, a fictional realm the siblings created based on a box of toy soldiers. After being acquired by the Bronte Parsonage Museum, the manuscript returned to the very home it was written in for the first time in almost 200 years. It's not just a valuable piece of literary history, it's a deeply personal window into Charlotte's early imagination, her literary beginnings, and the creative world the Brontes built long before any of them became household names. Number 2. Kaaba-i Zartosht. Tucked within the Nashi-Rustam complex in Iran stands the mysterious Kaaba-i Zartosht, translated as the Cube of Zoroaster. Despite the name, it has no direct link to Zoroaster himself. In truth, it mirrors a structure found in Pasargadae, believed to be Solomon's prison. Legends claim an eternal flame once burned inside it, becoming the origin of sacred fires in Zoroastrian temples. But the structure lacks proper ventilation, making that unlikely, unless the ancients had a way to keep fire alive without oxygen flow. Scholars from every corner have studied the cube, yet no one agrees on its exact function. It almost certainly served a religious purpose, but what kind? Nobody can say. Some suggest it was a fire temple, others a royal tomb. Its placement opposite the tomb of Darius II, who ruled 2,400 years ago, suggests a deliberate connection, but that's speculative at best. Even after countless studies and debates, the Kaaba-i Zartosht remains a mystery frozen in stone, quietly guarding its secrets in the desert sun. Number 1. Indus Valley pot found at a flea market. In 2018, Carl Martin, a seasoned auctioneer, stumbled upon what looked like a decorative toothbrush holder at a local flea market in England. The vendor asked for the equivalent of $10, unaware of the artifact's true value. Carl, recognizing its age and craftsmanship, didn't hesitate to buy it. The ceramic vessel turned out to be a 3900-year-old relic from the Indus Valley civilization, likely transported to the UK decades ago under unknown circumstances. It somehow ended up in the hands of someone who had no clue they were brushing their teeth next to a Bronze Age artifact. While Carl hasn't sold it yet, experts estimate its value to be several $100s, possibly more if it finds the right collector. This accidental discovery is a reminder that some of history's treasures aren't locked behind glass cases in museums, they're buried in forgotten boxes sitting on thrift store shelves or collecting dust in someone's kitchen. And all it takes is the right set of eyes to bring them back into the light. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.